Altieri. I'm also known as one of the Altieri brothers. Do you guys know the story about me?
No.
Okay, so let me give you the story. Why am I here? I'm here to do a haircutting demo. Okay, haircutting demo, but more than really what I'm here to do is connect with you. I've probably done, I don't know, 30 demos.
30 more.
30 or more demos here. I went to school here 47 years ago. Yeah, I'm 67. And when I was 20 years old, just like you guys, a lot of you, I came to the school. So here's my story. Basically, I'm going to do some hair cutting for you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Whenever I go to take classes myself, I'm still taking classes, I'm always interested in what that person is showing me for sure, the techniques and so forth. But I'm actually, maybe almost even more, I'm like interested in like the story of that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did they get from A to B to C and all the way down the line? And why are they up in front of me? And what do they have to offer me? And what can I take from them to help my career? Do you understand what I mean? So, first I want to say that, do you guys know what a mentor is?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a lifelong mentor. And what I mean by that, so I want to mentor you. And so here's my phone number, 949-698-8017, and I would really like you to use it. And I have actually guided so many people from this school in their career. You have no idea. Thousands of hairdressers I've helped. And the reason is because when I was 20 in school, this is how I felt. I felt afraid. I felt like, am I ever going to make it in this business? What am I even doing in this business? How did I get in this business? There's all these people that are in front of me that are so much better than me and more experienced. Man, this is going to be hard. And so you have a lot of insecurities when you're in school. And really what I needed more than anything is I needed some guidance. And I needed help. I needed a mentor. And finally, I did find a couple great mentors, and they really changed my life and helped me tremendously. And so I appreciate that so much that I thought, you know, I'm going to do that for as many people as I can. So you don't have to give me anything for it. I'll do it for nothing for you. You can call me at any time of any day and ask me whatever question you need. If you're ever going to build a salon, I've built 9 salons. If you're going to build a salon, you need advice, let me know. If you're going to do a product line, I've made 2 product lines, call me. If you want to become an educator, if you want to know where to go get more education, what should you do? Where should you, if you're thinking of working somewhere and run it by me. You think I should work here? Give me the situation, because I can give you a good viewpoint from all my experience that I've had. And I love to take hairdressers, predominantly young hairdressers, not young, new hairdressers, because sometimes a hairdresser, somebody gets into the business later in life, they're not necessarily like a young kid, but they're a new hairdresser. So I like to take new hairdressers under my wing, and a lot of them have come to my salons and worked for me. A lot of them have become like under me and my team and so forth. So soon you start teaching other hairdressers and you start sharing your thing with people, and we're all the same, It's like I always tell all the people that I mentor that can work under me or on my teams or whatever. I always tell them, my goal is to make you the best hairdresser you could possibly be. I want to polish you to like a diamond. But like as you get progressing, you get good at what you do, and really good at what you do. I want you to stay. That's how much more humble you have to become. Like, as good as you get, then you have to be that much humble on the other side, because there's a lot of people in this industry who get really good at this, and then they become asses, and they're mean and they're asses to everybody, and really, who cares? So you can do something really well. That doesn't give you the right to treat people without respect. And so, anyway, that's a combination. Now, my brother, on the other hand, he went to this school too. He came 5 years behind me. He's a character. Hopefully he gets here and he's gonna do some hair for me. He's mind-boggling. He's like the coolest hairdresser you ever seen in your life. Wait till you see this guy do hair. Anyway, so use my number, okay? So I'm going to do some hair cutting for you guys today. I'm going to talk to you about some education. I'm going to talk to you about some different tools. I'm going to really kind of open some things up for you guys, okay? When you go to this school, in the beginning, this is like your whole world. This is your whole viewpoint on what the industry's like. This room, that room. It's nothing like this room and that room, okay? When you get out of here, the whole world will open up for you. You're gonna get dressed up every day. You're gonna look awesome. You gotta be professional. You're gonna make a lot of money. It's a very glamorous job if you want it to be, and you can literally seek your own level. You know, you can become whatever you want to become. That's what I love about this industry, is that nobody can hold you back. It's not like a job where you go work in a cubicle somewhere and they tell you what you're going to do for 6 hours, 8 hours a day, and you're just in there and you're hating life. You know what I mean? It's like when you're in this industry, you're free. You guys know what a brand is? You know what Starbucks is? You know what Nike is? Mm-hmm. Well, you become a brand. You make your own brand. You become whoever you want to be. And it's extremely rewarding and fun and creative. Okay, so this is how I got in the industry. So when I was 16, I started going to Pierce across the street. I grew up in North Hollywood, and I wanted to play basketball in college, so I was selected onto the team at Pierce. Gifts to be a professional basketball player. I'm a 6-foot white dude. I could jump high, but if you're going to make it in the NBA, you're like 1 in a million, and you got to have like a lot of God-given talents. And so I played with all these guys that had all this God-given talent, but I would watch these guys. You know, they were super athletic. They were very tall. They had a lot of gifts that God gave them, but I would see them waste these talents, like they took them for granted. And so, anyway, I was across the street one day and I started thinking, man, I'm not going to end up. Just, I got to get real. I need to get into something, because I'm not going to really be a professional basketball player. So I said, what is it that I'm going to do? I'm trying to think, do I want to keep going to school here? Do I want to not? There's all the stories that have ran through your guys' minds before you came into this school. So all of a sudden I started thinking, what if I became a hairdresser? And I know that sounds super random, but it wasn't that random, because when I was 14, I started cutting hair. And I never had any lessons. I never cut hair in a salon. I actually started the way a lot of hairdressers start, and that's by cutting their own hair. And I started cutting my own hair, and I used to have long hair. I mean, at times I've had hair down to my waist, like my hair was like my thing. So in this particular age, like long hair was sort of in the 70s, and basically then I used to wear it kind of like this round, cool afro with curls, and basically nobody could cut it the way I wanted, so I just I'm gonna start cutting my own hair. And I started figuring out hair cutting. I started figuring out if you hold it up on this angle and you cut it, it will fall this way and so forth. And then pretty soon I started asking my brothers, can I cut your hair? I started asking my friends, can I cut your hair? And it became like a hobby of mine, but never in a million years did I ever think I would become a professional hairdresser. And that's the reason. The reason is because my dad was an immigrant. He was from Italy, a very smart, sophisticated man. And every day of my life he would say, Riccardo, you must be a doctor, you must be a lawyer. You have to go to school and be a doctor or a lawyer. And every time he would say that, I would not talk back to him because he would have knocked me out. But I would say to myself, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be an artist. That's what I would say to myself. And I'd always been super creative, but I never had one thing that I was creative enough to make money with, like good enough to make money. But I thought, you know what? If I go over there and learn how to do hair, I can have my own career. I could become anything I want to be. I can have my own salons. I could be, I can go as high as I want in the industry. And what's going to hold me back, So I love that aspect of it, to where I could sort of do my own thing. So, and then also, I thought, if I told my dad that I was going to hair school, I'm quitting college to go to hair school, he was going to freak out. And then on top of that, back then, I thought, people are going to think I'm gay, because there was no straight guys doing hair back then, right? So all this was in my head. But you know what? I didn't care. So I said, I walked over here. There was a guy, before these teachers came, a very famous guy that worked here. His name was Mr. Nugent. He was classic.
I work with him.
He would come into the room like this. And he'd be like, and he'd have these dark shades on so you couldn't see his eyes. And he'd just be peering all around the room, watching everybody do hair. And if you're like, so you're doing hair and all of a sudden you look over, there's Nugent, oh my God. He was like, this guy was not really mean, but he was like, you didn't mess with him, right? And so, anyway, so this guy, Mr. Nugent, walks, I walk into that door right there. I walk in there and he walks up to me and says, can I help you? I said, go to school across the street. I'm thinking about maybe coming over here and going to hair school. I had never been in a salon. I didn't know what the school was. I didn't know what it was. He goes, well, you can get on the waiting list. There's a waiting list for, about 2-year waiting list. You can go sign up and we'll call you up in about 2 years, right? I thought, there's no way. There's no way I can wait 2 years. So I said, okay, thanks very much. And I pretty much thought, maybe this isn't going to be for me. And then all of a sudden, when I got halfway out the door, he goes, hey, come here, kid, come here. He goes, you want to start on Monday? You can start on Monday. He says, I got a new freshman class starting on Monday. And he handed me like a slip to start. And I don't know why he did it, but I'm a big believer in things happen for a reason. So at that moment, I said, yeah, I'm doing this. So I literally quit college in hair school the next, about 3 days later, 2 days later, 3 days. Had my kid, new freshman class, about 100 people in the school. All of a sudden I look around, I'm like very nervous. I can't believe I'm doing this. And I noticed one thing that made me very happy. I was the only guy. I was like, yeah. What? This is going to be amazing. I didn't even think of this. It's going to be me and women for the rest of my life. And I always say this in this demo, and the reason it was so inviting to me is because I love women. And so, and I love women because I love my mom so much. My mom was my soulmate, my best friend, the supporter, my number one supporter. My dad was super strict, so he would always try to hold me down, and my mom was always like there for me. And so I thought, this is cool. I get along with women so well, and this is going to be great. This is going to be really a great profession, because I don't have a lot of guy friends. I've always been drawn to women. For some reason, I like to talk with women, and guys don't really talk about things. They pretty much grunt, and you know, they don't tell you how they feel. Anyway, so I remember I was in school, and right when I got out of freshman class, I had just done my last haircut to get out of freshman or whatever they do, and I looked at the haircut, and I never had any fear of haircutting. Whereas a lot of people, when they come into this school, are so frightful of cutting hair because they're worried about what is going to happen if I screw somebody's hair. I never had that. So thank God I never had that. And I looked at the haircut that I did, and I couldn't believe I did it. It was like it was all blending, and it was like, wow. I said, maybe this is the gift that God gave me, you know. And so, and I thought to myself, you know, if that's the truth, if this is a gift that God gave me, I want to be the best hairdresser in the world. So that was my thought that day, literally. Someday I'm going to be the best hairdresser in the world. And I hope some of you guys have had that thought through the course of up till now. It's a great thought to have. I found out that there is no such thing as a best hairdresser in the world because this is an art form, and so you can't really rate artists. But I've gotten pretty close, okay?